Imagine the year is 1910. The world hums with the spirit of adventure, and the South Pole stands as the planet's last great unclaimed prize. Enter Captain Robert Falcon Scott, embarking on the Terra Nova expedition, his heart set on making Britain the first nation to reach the South Pole. Fast forward to January 1912. After months of grueling travel through the most unforgiving landscape on Earth, Scott and his team reach the South Pole, only to find their dreams shattered. A Norwegian flag flaps mockingly in the cold wind. Roald Amundsen had beaten them by 34 days. The disappointment is palpable, the silence haunting. Scott's journal entries capture the moment's raw emotion, a testament to their dashed hopes. But the story only gets worse from here. The journey back is a descent into a frozen hell. The Antarctic shows no mercy as it unleashes its full fury. The men battle extreme cold, dwindling supplies, and the psychological toll of their defeat. They trudge through the endless ice, each step a struggle for survival. Edgar Evans, the first to succumb, meets his end on the ice. Oates walks into a blizzard, sacrificing himself in a vain hope to save his comrades. Scott and the remaining members make their final camp just miles from a supply depot. They are trapped by a blizzard, their bodies racked by frostbite and starvation. In their tent, they pen their last messages to the world, noble to the end. Scott's Terra Nova expedition becomes a story of human endurance, of dreams crushed by the harsh realities of nature, and of the ultimate sacrifice. 8. Air New Zealand Flight 901. The year is 1979. Air New Zealand Flight 901 embarks on a unique adventure, an Antarctic sightseeing flight that promises passengers unparalleled views of the Earth's most remote and starkly beautiful continent. Families, tourists, and photography enthusiasts board with cameras at the ready, eager for the experience of a lifetime. The excitement is palpable as the plane lifts off, heading towards the great white unknown. As Flight 901 approaches Antarctica, passengers press against windows, marveling at the icy landscapes unfolding below. The pilots, confident and experienced, navigate towards Mount Erebus, a towering volcano shrouded in white. The flight is supposed to be a routine loop over the continent, but fate has a tragic twist in store. Due to a fatal series of navigational errors compounded by the phenomenon known as whiteout, where visibility and horizon blur into one, the plane descends too low. Imagine the sudden shift from awe to horror as the realization dawns that something is terribly wrong. The plane crashes into the side of Mount Erebus, and in an instant, 257 lives are extinguished. The disaster is not just a moment of impact, it's a cataclysm that sends ripples through families, communities, and a nation. The wreckage, scattered on the icy slopes, becomes a somber monument to the fragility of life and the perilous beauty of the Antarctic. The aftermath of Flight 901 is a saga of sorrow, anger, and inquiry. Questions swirl about how such a disaster could happen. Investigations reveal a tangled web of human error, misleading flight coordinates, and systemic failures. The tragedy becomes a catalyst for change, transforming aviation safety protocols and navigational practices. But for those who lost loved ones, the scars run deep, the loss immeasurable. 7. British South Polar Expedition. In the early days of the 20th century, an expedition embarked under the leadership of Sir Ernest Shackleton, aiming to achieve the first land crossing of the Antarctic continent. The British South Polar Expedition, also known as the Endurance Expedition, set sail amidst high hopes and the eager anticipation of adding a glorious chapter to the annals of polar exploration. Picture the sturdy ship, Endurance, carrying men whose hearts beat with the thrill of adventure, setting course towards the most inhospitable place on Earth. As they penetrate the icy realm of the Antarctic, imagine the crew's growing apprehension as the Endurance becomes ensnared in the pack ice. Days turn into weeks, and the ice refuses to release its grip. Shackleton and his men watch helplessly as the pressure mounts, eventually crushing the Endurance, leaving them stranded on the ice floes. What follows is not just a story of survival, but a testament to human resilience and leadership under the most dire circumstances. The men set up camps on the drifting ice, holding on to hope, guided by Shackleton's indomitable spirit. When the ice begins to break up, they embark on a perilous journey in small lifeboats, navigating through treacherous seas to reach the uninhabited Elephant Island. Shackleton, knowing rescue is improbable without outside intervention, makes a daring open-boat journey across 800 miles of stormy ocean to South Georgia Island with a handful of men. This tale is one of unwavering determination of a leader who refuses to yield to despair, leading his men through hardship and danger with the mantra, "Failure is not an option." Against all odds, Shackleton secures rescue and all members of the expedition are saved. Finally, a happy ending which is unlike our next incident. 1982 British helicopter crash. In the vast frozen wilderness of Antarctica, where human life is but a speck against the continent's monumental scale, the 1982 British helicopter crash unfolds as a narrative of loss and the inherent risks of operating in such a merciless environment. Envision a British research team, part of a scientific mission to explore and study the Antarctic's secrets, relying on helicopters for transportation across its icy, unforgiving terrain. The crash, resulting from a combination of mechanical failure and the challenging Antarctic flying conditions, claims the lives of its crew, sending ripples of grief through the scientific community and beyond. The incident highlights the dangers faced by those who venture into the Earth's most remote regions, where help is far away and survival is never guaranteed. Number 5, 1971, Lockheed LC-130 crash. The 1971 Lockheed LC-130 crash stands as a stark testament to the perils of polar aviation. Envision a Lockheed LC-130 Hercules, its engines roaring against the cold silence, part of the U.S. Navy's Operation Deep Freeze, a mission dedicated to supporting scientific research on the icebound continent. This aircraft, equipped with skis to land on snow, represents the pinnacle of ingenuity and determination to conquer the challenges of Antarctic logistics. On that fateful day, the LC-130 is on a routine mission, ferrying men and supplies between bases when disaster strikes. The plane crashes, leaving a scene of twisted metal and scattered supplies against the pristine snow. The crew's struggle for survival begins immediately, battling against the elements in one of the most remote places on Earth. 4. 1997 Vostok Station incident. Far removed from the heroic tales of exploration and survival, the 1997 Vostok Station incident stands as a chilling reminder of the psychological toll that the Antarctic's extreme isolation and monotony can exact on those who overwinter. Picture the Vostok Station, a remote Russian research outpost buried in the heart of Antarctica's icy expanse, where winter temperatures plummet to some of the coldest on Earth, and darkness reigns supreme for months. In this claustrophobic setting, tensions escalate among the station's crew, culminating in a tragic event where one scientist, driven to the brink, ends the life of a colleague. The incident shocks the tight-knit polar research community and underscores the mental health challenges faced by individuals in such extreme environments. Number 3, 1988 Soviet Antarctic Expedition Accident. The 1988 Soviet Antarctic Expedition accident serves as a grim reminder of the dangers faced by those who venture into the world's most remote and inhospitable regions. Picture a team of Soviet explorers, part of the decades-long Soviet commitment to Antarctic research, embarking on a journey across the ice to conduct scientific studies that contribute to our understanding of this pristine environment. During the expedition, a seemingly routine traverse across the ice turns tragic when a crevasse, hidden by the snow's deceptive surface, claims the life of a researcher. The accident underscores the unpredictable nature of the Antarctic terrain and the constant hazards that accompany scientific and exploratory missions in the region. The loss of a member of the expedition is felt deeply by the tight-knit polar research community, a sobering reminder of the risks inherent in their work. 2. 2000 ANI helicopter crash. In the year 2000, the Antarctic wilderness witnessed a tragedy that underscored the inherent risks of flying in such a treacherous environment. Picture a helicopter operated by Adventure Network International, ANI, now known as Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions LLC, embarking on a journey across the icy expanse. The passengers aboard are adventurers and explorers, each seeking the thrill and beauty of the Earth's southernmost frontier, their eyes wide with anticipation for the unparalleled vistas of untouched snow and ice. As the helicopter traverses the Antarctic sky, something goes terribly wrong. The aircraft crashes, transforming a moment of exploration into one of catastrophe. The pristine white landscape becomes a scene of survival and sorrow, as rescue efforts are mobilized from international bases, highlighting the spirit of cooperation that defines human presence in Antarctica. 1. 2016 Twin Otter crash. Fast forward to 2016, and the Antarctic continent once again becomes the backdrop for a tragic aviation incident. This time, it involves a Twin Otter aircraft, a workhorse known for its reliability in harsh conditions, operated by Ken Borek Air Limited. The aircraft is on a mission to support scientific research, carrying Canadian crew members between research stations. These flights are vital lifelines, transporting personnel, supplies, and scientific samples across vast distances where no roads exist. Tragically, during this routine mission, the Twin Otter crashes in a remote and mountainous region of Antarctica. The accident sends shockwaves through the international polar research community, mourning the loss of lives dedicated to the advancement of scientific knowledge and understanding of the polar regions. The 2016 Twin Otter crash underscores the perilous nature of Antarctic aviation, where even the most experienced pilots and robust aircraft are not immune to the dangers posed by the continent's unpredictable weather and challenging terrain. It prompts a renewed focus on the safety protocols and training for those who fly in such extreme environments, reinforcing the need for vigilance, preparation, and respect for the Antarctic's formidable natural forces.